To welcome Reverend Judi Elia, and she was an ordained unity minister serving diverse communities for over 30 years. In 1988, while she lived with Gandhi's Ashram in Palm Bay, Florida, she completed the year-long Gandhi course, with reading his published and unpublished manuscripts and writing 12 papers read by his disciples. She has traveled widely to study with spiritual teachers from Cambodia, China, India, Tibet, and Turkey. She has organized conferences and events internationally for world peace, holistic medicine, and the spiritual unity of the world's religions. She has recently returned to Florida, yay, after living through some of the largest and most devastating fires in California history. And we are blessed to have you.
So today is Gandhi's birthday. He was born October 2nd, 1869. And was killed on January 30th, 1948 by a fanatical Hindu. I have learned from my teachers, especially from two of them, Bhante and Mataji, that if you stand in truth, someone might try to kill you. You may not know Mataji was often sought after by the same fanatical Hindus as Gandhi. And she would never talk about it. One time I went to her ashram in India, and I'm like, Mataji, why are there armed guards at the ashram? You know? And she would not say, but years later, she shared that it was for the safety of all of us that were there, because there were people that wanted to kill her for her amazing stand for women's rights. Mataji founded a women's college. She ran for parliament. She had an orphanage for untouchables. She was an amazing human. And she was the first person. She also ran away to Gandhi's ashram when she was a kid, that they sent her back home because they knew who her parents were. And so she was the first woman in the history of India to be given the Maha Mandaleshwar title, which means one who's crossed the ocean of life. And she gave it to a non-Brahmin. Ooh. She gave it to a Jewish woman from New York, Majaya. So that really was bad in the perspective of Orthodox Hindus still, you know, in recent times. So that was one of the reasons there were armed guards at the ashram. So Gandhi lived his life as a seeker of truth. And he believed in what he called Satyagraha, that truth has a force. Satya, truth, graha, energy, force, power. He taught that truth telling and living our truth is powerful energy. So in his honor today, I want us all to contemplate together, what is truth? When Jesus was being interrogated by Pontius Pilate, he asked him, Pontius Pilate did, to Jesus, what is truth? And he never answered. There's this long space in the Bible where they just go on to something else. Why didn't he answer? Is it because of that Taoist perspective, the Tao that can be spoken is not the Tao? Did Jesus just know? You can't speak the truth. The word is not the essence. What is God? Can I really put G-O-D or goddess or love or spirit into words? No, never. It'll only just be my ability to express my current understanding at this time. But it isn't that. It can never be. It's just a symbol. A word is just a symbol. as they say in the Sufi tradition. You can't taste the honey by licking the word honey out of a book. So Gandhi said, my whole life is an experiment in truth. And to me, that means that he was living his truth to the ability he could for his whole life. Making mistakes. One of the things we talked about this morning at the yoga center was that he was an ordinary kid. You never would have expected that he would lead an entire nation. He wasn't even that smart, by the standards of his school teachers. He just eked by, and he became a lawyer, but he was very shy. And it wasn't until he was thrown off that train that he began to attempt to live a truth to assist his people to become emancipated and free. One step at a time. Before that, he was a pretty ordinary person that was becoming a lawyer in a family that wasn't extraordinarily wealthy, but wealthy enough that he was never disrespected. He always was able to go first class, but not in South Africa. It didn't matter that he was a lawyer. It didn't matter what family he came from. He had brown skin off the train. And so he began his journey. So I ask you, have you had a Gandhi's train experience lately or ever, where you just got knocked awake? You saw something that you'd never seen before, and you had a passion to try and move humanity forward, a mission. There's a famous story about Gandhi. Everyone tells it, so I'm probably sure you've heard it before. A mother takes her son to meet Gandhi and asks Gandhi to tell the child not to eat sugar. He won't listen to me. Maybe he'll listen to you. Gandhi says, bring him back in a few weeks. So in a few weeks, she brings the child back and Gandhi says, don't eat sugar. And the mother says, well, why did I have to wait 2 weeks for you to say that? And Gandhi says, because I had to stop eating sugar. Right? To Gandhi, integrity was essential. He says, happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in complete harmony. What you think, what you say, and how you act are completely in harmony. And he also encourages us to be disciplinarians with our thinking, with a contemplation around every day, am I living my truth? And how am I showing up with that? He says, if you're not happy about anything in your world or society, be willing to change it in yourself first. Don't complain. Complaining will never take you anywhere. Nothing will change unless you change. The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. Erik Erikson called Gandhi the leader of the movement of militant nonviolence, which sounds like an oxymoron, right? Like, how is that possible? But he called the secret to his success in mobilizing people and in changing society, Satyagraha and Ahimsa. So the force of truth and the force of the soul in harmony with itself. So Ahimsa means in many different religions. It's a Sanskrit word, so it's kind of hard to translate, but in many religions, in Jainism and Buddhism and Hinduism, the common understanding is that ahimsa means do no harm. The deeper understanding is to love unconditionally, no exceptions, to have a reverence for all life, to care so much about others that you have no enemies, that you constantly forgive, you constantly contemplate what's in it from me. And you lead a life of discipline where you're carefully watching your thoughts, because Gandhi says they become your words, and you manage and watch your words because they become your actions. And you consider and judge your own actions, not other people's, your own, for they will become your habits. And you acknowledge and watch your habits because they become your values. And you understand and embrace what you value, your stand for it. You live into your values because they become your destiny. So truth is not something that anyone else can tell you, that you can read in the Bible, that you can read in the Bhagavad Gita. It's not anything like that. Actually, it's like the Buddha said, truth is what you have experienced in your own life, what you know because of your direct experience, because you've used it as a principle or you've experienced it as a law of life. The opposite of ahimsa is himsa. Ahimsa is not violent, not harming, all good, right? Himsa is like sin, mistakes, evil, creating more karma or samskaras. So what we do, we receive, right? And the law of mind action, we might call karma, right? And we might say samskaras are those things that have wounded us because of what we've done. And so I've talked about this before. I am really enjoying Michael Singer's book, Living the Untethered Life, his sequel to Living the Untethered Soul. And what he says is that your job is to not create more samskaras, right? So your job is to stay in equipoise, and Gandhi talks about that a lot, surrender and forgiveness, regardless what is happening out there. When you get triggered, you take it into contemplation, you take it into prayer and meditation, so you don't injure yourself again. One time, I was dating a man that had a reputation, his past of having many girlfriends, and they weren't all happy about how he had treated them or how short or long their relationship was. And so I was hearing a lot about him. And one day Mataji walked up to me and she said, even listening to negative thoughts about someone else is ahimsa. It's a mistake. It's not right. See the best in people. Everyone can transform. Hold up the best. Don't speak gossipy, petulant words, and don't listen to them. If we continue to listen to negative things about people, their past, right? What are we doing? We're strengthening their past. We're not giving them the opportunity to be who they are. There's so much of that going on in our world today. Because, as Erik Erikson said, the person we were, the person we are, and the person we are becoming are all smooth continuations of the person we must be in the face of the myriads of causes and conditions that we have experienced, perhaps lifetimes of causes and conditions that have created the person we are today. How can we judge? There but the grace of God go I. If we other people and we demonize them, how often do we do that? Someone does one thing or says one thing and, they're fired, or, they're put up like, someone who is a label. I was reading about, I think it's Katie Halper, the journalist, how she got fired from The Hill was because she was taking a stand for people, and calling out people in power. And her facts were impeccable. And she still got fired, because she was anti-Semitic, and she was not by any standard. But in our culture, we have a way of demonizing people who don't agree with our political ideology. And more and more, it takes incredible courage, incredible fearlessness to speak truth. Gandhi says fearlessness is the first requisite of spirituality. Cowards can never be moral. Actually, following the 10 Commandments takes a lot, doesn't it? And it's just a start. He says nothing, it's my conviction that nothing ever enduring can be built on violence. Nothing enduring can be built on violence. How many of you know Jimmy Dore, the fearless comedian, right? I think he is just an amazing human. So the other day, he was giving a talk about ending world hunger. And he gave the statistic for ending world hunger, which is like a minuscule amount of our military budget. And he was saying, okay, people, what if we decided to use our taxpayers' money to end world hunger instead of killing people? Do you think we'd feel more safe? Do you think the world would like us more? Would it not lead to national security instead of these endless wars? We are not safer because we have more or better weapons. Gandhi taught, be the action you want to see in this world. Choose to be a blessing. Have no enemies. He practiced radical forgiveness. Who knows how many years he spent in jail? Does anybody know? I think it's 7, that he spent about 7 years in jail. Like Gandhi, our life is an experiment in truth. Our nation is an experiment in democracy. We're all students of truth in the school of earth. Or as Ram Dass said, we're really just walking each other home. Gandhi led a movement of deep and constant contemplation of what is true and what is best, not for me, but for humanity and the living earth. We become students of Gandhi's truth when we're open-minded and when we consider ourselves lifelong learners. And it begins with conscious neutrality. How many of you can wrap your mind around that concept? Conscious neutrality. That means I will deeply listen to what others are saying. I will not discount your thoughts. I will not label you as other. Listening with conscious neutrality as a spiritual practice is very difficult. It requires forgiveness and reconciliation as a daily practice, and not labeling other people, refusing to place them as different than you. They are not. We're all human. Gandhi was so ordinary. He never wanted to be called Mahatma, which means great soul, because he felt that it would make people think they couldn't do what he was doing. And what he was doing, he didn't think was special. It was his life, his choice, his ability to discipline. He said, you must not lose faith in humanity. Humanity is an ocean. If a few ocean drops are dirty, the whole ocean doesn't become dirty. How often do we do that? You know, we see one person doing something atrocious, and there's so much that we get programmed to think is wrong with the world. There isn't a whole lot of good news out there, but there's a lot of good happening out there. You have to search to find it, but it is happening. So again, keeping an open mind, and like the Buddha said, Gandhi often quoted this, don't believe in anything simply because you've heard it. Don't believe in anything simply because it is spoken or rumored by many. Don't believe in anything simply because it is found written in your religious books. Don't believe in anything merely on the authority of a teacher or elder. Only what you have seen in yourself, used and proven in your own life through your direct experience is true. I think our time period right now is for us to cultivate discernment and spiritual maturity. These are very important qualities for young America. As my friends that are much younger than me say, adulting can be quite a challenge. So we're waking up. We're figuring out what it means to be an adult. And that starts with asking the right questions. We become adults when we see knowledge being spread that goes against our own personal experience and refuse to agree with it. We awaken when we see popular opinion being wrongly accepted as truth and what is right being pushed as being wrong. Then we know we have discernment. We awaken by seeking answers in corners that are not popular, by practicing ahimsa, the force that comes from living your deepest truth. Howard Thurman, an African-American grandson of slaves, was the first person to take a contingent funded by Eleanor Roosevelt to meet Gandhi. And Gandhi asked him, how could you be a Christian? Christians have done so much to abuse your race. And Howard Thurman asked him, what do you think that we could do? And why do you think that Christianity, true Christianity, not the religion about Jesus, but the religion that Jesus practiced, has not flourished in the West? And Gandhi said, because of Christians. By the same token, he read the Bible and he told Howard Thurman that his principles of non-violence, his principles of civil disobedience came in large part by what Jesus taught. Love your enemies, bless those that curse you. Howard Thurman said, love has no awareness of merit or demerit. It has no scale. Love loves. This is its nature. Love your neighbors. No exceptions. So what does that mean in our time period? Some of you won't like this. It means love and respect Putin, Biden, Trump, and Zelensky. They are the old patriarchy we still can't face in ourselves. They are humans, fallible like us, and capable of making great mistakes, lying, cheating, and stealing, and transforming. They are the face of democracy. They are the face of hypocrisy. And it's all coming up to be healed in us and in the world. This does not mean we don't hold people accountable. That's why Gandhi went to jail so many times, telling truth and demonstrating nonviolently. But he also did not other people. He did not blame them for the world's problem, bully them, demoralize or demean them. He said an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, and the whole world goes blind. Happy birthday, Mahatma. So next Friday, we're doing a tribute to Gandhi, and it's on Zoom, and you're all welcome. And a friend of mine who lives at Gandhi's ashram, his name is Nimesh Patel. We call him Nemo. He's a great musician, and he teaches street kids music and dance. He's taken orphans and street kids on tours of the world performing. And he did a 4-minute video for us to honor Gandhi at Gandhi's ashram. So let's watch Nemo's video.
Hey everybody, really amazing to be with you all today on this celebration day of truth, of living our truth, of Gandhiji's birth anniversary. I'm here at the Gandhi Ashram. My name is Nemo. I'm here at the Gandhi Ashram where I've been staying over the past 12 years. This building here was Gandhi's home 100 years ago, exactly, where he stayed here from 1917 to 1930 before he left from these footsteps for the Salt March on March 10th, 1930. And it's been an amazing blessing to be here and be a part of this family and help continue Gandhi's legacy through service work, through serving those in need. We have our NGO that's located on this side of the ashram, and then over on this side of the ashram is the prayer ground, which I'm kind of pointing at, where Gandhi and the ashram community lived and prayed every morning and every evening of every day that they were here. And the special part of this ashram is that it was called the Satyagraha Ashram, as well as the Sabarmati Ashram. Satyagraha means the force of truth, and Sabarmati is the river, which I'll come show you guys here as well. And it was called the Gandhi Ashram, still is called the Gandhi Ashram. But the importance of this ashram was really the vows that Gandhiji lived by and made sure that everybody else that was committed to staying in this ashram lived by. And there are 11 vows. I'm just showing you the river here nearby. We are in the city of Ahmedabad, Gujarat, western state of India. And the vows that Gandhiji lived by in the ashram community, the main two were truth and nonviolence, and beyond that there were many: manual labor, acceptance of all religions, a removal of untouchability, simplicity of the palate, non-possession. So there were 11/12 different vows that you had to commit to in order to live here. And so just sending you all lots of love from this sacred space on planet Earth, and look forward to being with you all soon, sometime again. Love you all, and may Gandhi's spirit of truth and of nonviolence and of compassion permeate through your time together, and through the world. Love you all. Here are the 11 vows. Pursue truth, non-violence, chastity, control of the palate, non-stealing, non-possession, self-sufficiency, fearlessness, removal of untouchability, believing all religions or embracing all religions, tolerance. And this is Gandhiji's room where he used to stay. So we're just having a little inside addition here. And this was a little wheel of life. Zoom in here. Love, knowledge, food, and strength, how the ashram was ran based on those principles.